Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to episode 2 of the miscellaneous mic show, I suppose. Just me talking shit. We haven't failed yet, so episode 2. Hey, milestone, bust out the champagne. Tonight, we're gonna go down the rabbit hole because there's a couple of topics that I want to talk about later on, in later episodes. But in order to get to those topics, we're going to need to lay down some ground rules, important rules for understanding me and my channel. Facts are you need to know what you're looking at when you're looking at statistics. You can't just take things at face value. You have to actually know where the figures came from to understand whether or not they say what you think they say. For example, how many testicles does the average human have? That's a pretty weird question to ask. I mean, what do you think? What do you think that the answer to that is? How many testicles does the average human have? All of you would almost immediately go, 2. Like, what? 2. You'd think that's the right answer. But that's not that's not the question. I asked that question in a very particular way. I didn't say how many testicles does the average man have. I said how many testicles does the average human have. Different question. Because how many people are there in the world? 7.5 billion. How many men? 3 1/4. No, 3 3/4. Yeah, 3 3/4 of a billion people. How many testicles are there? 7.5, which means that the average human has 1. That's a weird statistic because it's bimodal distribution. It's, half of people have 2, half of people have none. So now that we've covered that, let's get on to a much more contentious topic, because I'm about to say something that is absolutely outlandish, and it's going to get clipped and taken out of context, and people are going to absolutely freak out at it. But here we go, right? It is a good thing that so many people in the Western world are dying from cancer. What a weird statement. That's outrageous. But it's entirely true. It's completely insensitive to everyone who dies from cancer. But it's entirely true. It is a good thing that so many people die from cancer. Because what's the alternative? Everybody dies eventually. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. See what we can find here. National Cancer Institute. Here we go. Avoiding cancer, blah blah blah. Percentage of new cancers by age group. This is the interesting one. All cancer sites. Now, see this here. Under the age of 20, 1%. Under the age of 34, that's 3.7%. 35 to 44, that's another 5.2%, so that takes you up to 8.9%. 8.9% of people die from cancer by the age, also 8.9% of new cancers present before the age of 44%. Before the age of 44. All the rest of it is after the age of 44. See this here? 14% when you're 45 to 54. A quarter of them from 55 to 64. Another quarter from 65 to 74. 20% from 75 to 84. 7.8% for people over the age of 84. How many people are in that bracket? That's a smaller bracket right there. There's not that many people. If you think about how many people under the age of 20 there are, there's a lot. All of the cancer is stacked after the age of 55, all of it. What's been happening with life expectancies in the Western world? That's the next thing we need to look at. Here's Australia. This is our life expectancy now, 82.5 years. What was it in 1970? Let's look. Oh, look at that. It's 70. It's gone up 12 years in the last 40 or 50. Let's look at mortality and cause of death in 1900 versus 2010. Top 10 causes of death in the USA, which is, fairly comparable to Australia, I think, between 1900 and 2010. What have we got there? Cancer. 64 out of... I don't know what that is out of. Per 100,000. So for every 100,000 people, 64 people die from cancer. 137 die from heart disease. Look at these other ones. Tuberculosis, pneumonia, diphtheria. You see that blue there? And look at it now. Well, 2010. 2010 is practically now. Where have they gone? Where's tuberculosis? It's gone. Look at cancer though. Cancer's gone up to 185 per 100,000. Mortality went down by 54%, but everyone still needs to die at some point. No one lives forever. Eventually you'll die. And because we're curing all of these other things, like rubella, mumps, 7 deadly diseases the world has almost eradicated. Let's have a look. Guinea worm. Measles. Measles is making a comeback because, fortunately the anti-vaxxers, they really, really care about making sure that the amount of people dying from cancer goes down. And how they plan on doing that is by killing people from preventable diseases instead. So, measles, mumps, rubella, polio. Well, not polio. That's not making a comeback, fortunately. But, preventable diseases. They're coming back. If you die from measles, I can guarantee you will not die from cancer. Is that a good thing? I don't think so. So, anyway, to sum up, you've got to be really, really careful when you're looking at statistics on the internet. You need to make sure that you know what you're actually looking at and what the statistics actually say. Because if you just take things off face value, like a statistic that says that the average human has 1 testicle, you're going to end up with some very strange conclusions. If you see a statement that says it is a good thing that so many people die from cancer, you're going to be outraged unless you understand what that actually means. Because we're all living 30 years longer, but we all need to die at some point. Imagine what happens when we cure cancer though. Anyway, thanks for watching. This has been Miscellaneous Mike, and I hope you tune in for the next episode. Feel free to subscribe and start some banter and talk shit about me in the comments section, because that's fun. Anyway, laters.